Welcome to this new video. You're with yours truly, Queen Choma. I am a international speaker, a publicist, PR and media coach. I am a lecturer. I work with university students, and I am also a former TV presenter. I'm an entrepreneur. Okay, so I'm here today to talk to you about being more relatable because I think this is a big thing right now. I think this is actually the word for 2024 when it comes to the celebrity world, the influencer world, the media world, and maybe even the entrepreneurial world. I think it's such a big thing. Like, I've been watching so many videos on Jennifer Lopez, the whole crisis that she's going through with her tour, with the album sales, with, just all of the sort of what is not going well in reference to the tour, the album, the movie that she created. And a lot of this is to do with the relatability factor, the fact that she wasn't being relatable. Um, a lot of celebrities have lost that personal touch. Some of them act like they're all nice and everything, but really they are disconnected from their fans. Sometimes they'll show themselves. Like, for example, Kylie Jenner, she was in her wardrobe and she was, in her wardrobe that's really, obviously a very glamorous fancy with so many designer bags and so many designer shoes. And that usually would have been anybody's, most people love that kind of lifestyle. They want to see what the celebrities are wearing, what they're doing. But it seems as if a lot of the celebrities, like, for example, going back to that example, Kylie was in her closet and she was like, "What should I wear? Like, should I wear this, this designer bag, or should I wear this designer bag?" And it was almost like, dude, people are not even able to pay their gas and electric right now. People are literally wondering how they're going to put food on the table, and you're asking us which bag should you wear. And remember when Jennifer Lopez, I don't know if you remember, but she had, I think it was like an anniversary of her song, "My Love Don't Cost a Thing." My love don't cost a thing. Remember that song? Yeah. So she basically, there was an anniversary and she sort of like, in the actual video, she was throwing some of her jewelry around, like just basically throwing away the gifts that the man had given her, saying, "Listen, my love don't cost a thing. I don't need all of this bling bling. Okay, you need, if you want to love me, you need to love me. You don't need to be giving me all these gifts." So she was throwing the gifts, like taking off the jewelry and throwing it on the beach and everything, because obviously, as many of you know, when she went to meet this guy, he wasn't there. He just kept not being there, and it was almost like, okay, I wish you were here rather than another gift. That's what she said, right? And so in the video, she was sort of throwing out the bling onto the beach, and so she made a challenge where she wanted people to do the same thing. And I think this was around the pandemic, and it was almost like a lot of the fans were like, we're not about to be throwing away our like jewelry and our watches and stuff on the beach. Like, it's just not going to happen. That is not a realistic challenge, right? So I'm just here to let you know that there are things that a lot of people do that's out of touch. I even think that some entrepreneurs, the way they market their businesses, with this constant push of buy the meat, buy my product, buy my product, buy my product, buy my thing. Like, even some of the millionaire women entrepreneurs, I mean, some of you are definitely relatable. And I'm telling you that some of you're so tone deaf. And I just want to, like, bring us back to that place of like, okay, let's also remember to be human. Okay, so I'm going to share a few things that might help. I hope it helps. And I could definitely go deeper and, like, I mean, I could become more, a little bit more on the theory side, or because obviously as a PR person, I do know the terms, right? I could share like all of the terms. I could throw terms out. For example, I could throw, issues management, crisis management. I could, employee relations. Um, I can give you all the big names, all the big terms. Okay, but I'm trying to make this like down to earth so that you can comprehend this message. And if you want more of that, like the bigger stuff, if you want more of the rigorous side of PR, and you want that to get your business to the next level and really understand it more, just reach out to me. I'm going to drop my details below and everything, so you can reach out. And if you want to talk with me, jump on a call with me. We're going to have a PR and media strategy session to discuss how your brand how you can use PR more effectively. Okay, but let me share these 11 tips with you. 11 ways to be more relatable without all the jargon. I'm not going to really share much jargon, but that I could go into jargon. I can definitely do that, and I do that in my courses. And there is a course recommendation I have made in this. Like, there is a course I'm selling which I'm going to put the link below. Check out the link below and get it because it's going to be really helpful for you. But anyway, let's dive into this. So 11 ways to use PR and media to be more relatable as a female entrepreneur. Okay. And it's not just about being on television and being on podcasts. Like that is really good, but there are other things you can do. PR is not just about being in magazines and being on TV. I think that's what people think it is. But it's about basically presenting yourself in the best way possible in front of audiences, different audiences. It could be your audience, but you have to also think of other audiences. Okay. So this could, let's not go into too much more. Let's get to the point. I'm going off into tangents. Anyway, number one, share, and discuss relatable topics. Okay, I think that you see, this is the thing. You need to have more than one topic. If your topic is just marketing, you can share some. We're going to talk about stories. You can definitely share stories to make it more relatable and everything. You clearly are unique. Your business is unique. You have unique ideas and everything. But sometimes you can be just a carbon copy of another business out there. Okay, because at the end of the day, we've all heard these marketing messages. Buy my thing, buy my thing, buy my thing.com. Okay, yeah, that is the thing. So we need something different. We need you to basically come up with maybe 5 unique ideas that you can sort of like, okay, one of the ideas might be success. Another idea that you like, and basically different topics. You could cover like some, maybe 5 different topics. It could be cooking. Cooking is a thing you talk about. Then another thing you talk about is success. Another area you talk about is your faith, your religion, right? The next area you talk about is gardening because you're obsessed with gardening, okay? And then the next area is you love talking about makeup. Okay, so you've got your 5 areas, but you've also got to think about the deeper topics of the world. You've also got to, like, whether it's once or twice a month or once a week, you've got to cover something that's going on in the world as well. So it could be you're talking about a charity that you just supported. You could talk about, like, for example, you could share something that a celebrity is doing that's very interesting in the world. So recently I've been sharing about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry going to Nigeria because I'm from Nigeria originally. I was born in the UK. I live in London. I've lived here all my life, but I'm still Nigerian and they're doing some work there. And so I talked about it. It may not be popular to everyone. Some people don't necessarily like them because of the, sort of, we all know why, but yeah, because of the media frenzy and everything and the way that they've shared their stories, and people may or may not agree with it. But at the end of the day, they're still doing good work in Nigeria. And so I want to talk about it, right? So you don't have to always please everybody by talking about things that are just meh, just vanilla. No, you can also talk about important topics and important issues. I like to mention things to do with celebrities, and I will talk about what, like, certain things. I will even say, like, pray for them. I give prophetic messages. I'll share dreams I've had and stuff. That may not be everyone's cup of tea, but I share it because it's something that it means something to me, and I know that people can pray for these celebrities, and then maybe things could help. And plus, I'm in the media world, so it's of interest to me, right? And it's of interest to some of my audience. But I also talk about, for example, I've shared many times where I've donated money to a charity, and I will share it on my Twitter. I would do a screenshot of it on my Instagram or something. I will share things in the media, in the news that I might notice. Like, I think sharing some topics to do with the world is important as well. So whether that is you talk about something to do with Brexit, even though Brexit's not necessarily affecting us too much right now, but maybe there are, but it kind of is at the same time, right? So maybe you want to talk about something to do with Brexit. You don't have to talk about things of the present moment. You can also talk about things in the past. You can share something in history. For example, you could talk about the suffragette movement, right? You can talk about women in politics today. So maybe a woman in politics that you admire, you want to talk about that. It could be that you highlight a cause in your community, something that you're supporting or something that you want to bring a highlight to, something that you would like to highlight in reference to your audience and the world at large. It could be that you decide that you're going to talk about what's going on in Palestine, right? So what's going on in reference to the Palestinians, what's happening in Gaza, right? You might want to talk about that. You might want to actually bring it up and say, okay, I've donated to these causes, or please pray. We pray for peace, and we pray for healing for the children, especially for the children and the women that are like, so some of you may not want to talk about certain things because you might not feel like you're equipped. You may not feel like you have the knowledge or the answers. You may feel that this is not really your field or your area, and I get it. But you still are a human being, and you definitely feel something. And if you don't, then maybe you need to question your sensitivity. Have you become um, desensitized? Have you got to a point where you don't feel anything anymore? And if you have, then maybe it's time to start um, really getting out of that bubble and just allowing yourself to look at different topics. What is going on? Do some research. Spend an hour a week and do research and just spend time looking at what's going on. I look at what's going on every single day, like daily, like just 5 minutes a day, and I'm up to date with what's going on in the world. I don't just want to know what's happening in terms of how much money people are making in the entrepreneurial world. In fact, a lot of that's become cringe, right? Cringy. Money is good. Making money is good. Getting clients is good. Getting sales is good. But if that's all that it is actually soulless and empty, because there's only so much impact that you can make if you're not actually also making a bigger impact on the world at large. And I think that's the disconnect sometimes. Even your own clients will be fed up with you if they don't see you doing anything for society and the community. They invest for a reason because they expect that you are caring about certain issues. And then when they realize that you don't, they start to pull away. Or they will pull away one day, or you will just actually dislike being an entrepreneur because you feel like it's not real, there's something missing. There was a billionaire once, and he was unhappy. He got to the point where he was unhappy, and he kept on, make more money. He tried to do bigger things and everything. And nothing really changed until one day, somebody suggested he got involved in some charity work. He got involved with charity work, and he became so happy and so fulfilled. Okay, and then one day this boy came up to him and said to him, "Can I look at your face?" And then he said, "Why?" And he said, "Because I want to remember your face when I see you in heaven." And he just almost like melted, He was so emotional. Um, it's so warming and touching when you can connect with people, like Angelina Jolie doing her philanthropy work. Yes, she's this beautiful woman, an actress, and all the Hollywood life. But when it comes down to it, she's found causes to support, right? So you can talk about these causes, okay? Um, and if you need more ideas on this, like I said, you've got to reach out to me. If you want to strategize, we can strategize together. I can help you, girl. Okay. So number 2, relate to a wider audience. Relate to a wide range of audiences. Okay. Now, if you one thing I want you to do, I want you to stop thinking that your country, if you live in America especially, I think some of you Americans are a bit guilty of this, but not just those of you in America. And by the way, I said some, not all of you. Okay, some. But or did I say most? If I said most, I meant some, okay? Because I don't like to stereotype and I don't like to generalize. But I do notice this. It's not something I'm just saying for no reason. I notice that some Americans will act like they own the whole of the internet, and they'll act like um, they'll say things like they'll say something like oh, this isn't yeah, well, in America this is how it goes, and in America people need to understand that in America. And it's like, hello, like, are you tonedeaf.com? Are you literally not paying attention to the fact that we are not in America? This is Google, or this is Facebook, this is Instagram. I am British. I'm not literally in America right now. I'm in the UK. So when I'm looking at someone saying, "Oh yeah, in America this, in America that," and they're not referring to a certain specific thing happening in America, they're talking to everybody. I'm like, are you unaware of the fact that you have an international audience, or you're speaking to people that are from different parts of the world? We have people on social media that are from hundreds, over 100 countries, or I think we have over 200 countries, and most of these countries, right? And let's just say 180 countries. We have people representing at least 180 countries. It could be a little bit less, it could be a little bit more, right? So who are you talking to if you're just going on and on and on about America? And this can apply to you if you're Nigerian, if you're just going on about Nigeria. This can apply to you if you're British and you're just going on about the UK. This can apply to you if you're Australian and you just keep going on about Australia. Yes, you can go on about it to a certain degree because it's your country, or your, like, if you live in London, you might want to talk about London. But you cannot speak to everyone and act like they are all Londoners. That's what I'm talking about. That is, you need to understand that that is not okay, because it makes you look ignorant, tone deaf, and it makes you seem as if you're uneducated, because you're coming across as someone that doesn't actually you're not aware. It makes you seem as if you're unaware. So what I want you to do, how you can change this, is begin to address your audience as an international audience. So you can say things like, you can be specific sometimes, like, hey, my American peeps, like, how's it going? Or those of you that live in California, how are you doing today? Or whatever. Yes, you can be specific, but also be generalized and be like, hey, everyone, where are you? What's the weather like in your city right now? What's the weather like in your country? Tell me a bit about your country, your city. I know I'm serving an international audience, so tell me a bit more about you. Okay, so that's what I mean about referring to a wide range of audiences. If you just relate to your American audience and you always speak to people as if everybody's American, even people in America are not all American. And even in terms of me being in the UK, people that watch my stuff, especially on Facebook, like my Facebook fan page, they're not really British. It's usually people from Africa, different parts of Africa, that are watching my stuff or that are commenting on my stuff. But when it comes to TikTok, I mainly have an American audience and a British audience. When I'm on Instagram, it's mainly American and British, American, maybe Australian, European. I have, yeah. So you've got to you've got to figure out your numbers, in the sense of, know your stats, know your numbers, know where, like, what you might want to do is just go in and look at your metrics, look at your numbers. Who is watching you? So go into your Instagram, go into your TikTok, go into your Facebook, and find the stats. Where are your people coming in from? Who are you serving? Like, are you mainly serving 24 to 35-year-olds? Are you mainly who is who is watching your stuff the most? And then you can speak more to these people. One thing I noticed when I had my podcast, when I was like doing my podcast, the Festive Success Show, and I was really like active with it, I noticed that people that were tuning in, they were like, I had about 10 top countries, and it would be like Nigeria, the USA, um it would be like even some places in the Middle East, right? So I noticed that, like, oh, it's all these different countries. I'm having people tune in, I think, like, just different parts of the world. And some countries I didn't even really know the country, like it was like different countries as well that I didn't know much about. And I used to like talk about it and like highlight that on my stories. I would be like, oh my gosh, I've got people tuning in from different parts of the world. Okay, so and also remember to do this when you visit a country or a city that's different as well. Okay, so talk more about the world, not just about your city or your country. Refer to international audiences. Number 3, share stories and experiences that you have had that your audience can relate to. Okay, so you might want to come up with about 8 stories that you can share, or it could be 5 stories. Relatable stories. So it could be giving birth, a story of you giving birth. You don't have to share all the details, but just so that could be one of your stories. Another story is the time you made the day you met your husband, like the story of love, how you found love. Another story could be the story of your divorce, like if maybe some of you have been through or it could be a story of a breakup. That could be a story that's relatable. Another one could be the story of how you launched your business. Another story could be the story of basically how you met your favorite celebrity, right? So come up with stories that are relatable. Some other ideas are it could be a story of how you made your first sale. It could be a story of how you made your first $1,000 in business. It could be a story of how you created your website by yourself from scratch. It could be a story of how you basically travel to the story of how you travel to different countries. So it could be your traveling story. Number 4, stay up to date with current affairs. That really ties in with point number 1 in reference to covering and sharing relatable topics. One of the ways to do that is to know what's going on in current affairs. Stay up to date with current affairs and know what's happening in the world so that you don't come across as out of touch. Okay, so staying up to date with current affairs is going to be a great way to be very relatable, because you're going to know what is going on every single day, and you just need to do this 5 minutes a day. I remember one of my clients saying that she didn't really want to know much of what was going on, but then she had a moment where she would go to, I think she went to like an event, and basically she said that everyone knew who this so and so person was, this huge leader or something that was at this event, or this huge celebrity or this influencer. And then she said that it made her look bad to not know who this person was, because tuned into what she was doing. And sometimes you can do that. You can be so focused on your marketing, your world, and then when everyone meets, like when everybody you go to a event and everyone knows who this leader is, or they know who this it could be, yeah, it could be a leader, it could be, let's pretend Mel Robbins. Let's pretend that Mel Robbins comes into a event, into a room, and she's going to be speaking to 100 entrepreneurs, right? I mean, if someone does not know who Mel Robbins is, I mean, have they been living under a rock, right? So it's something like that, where it's like, how can you not know? Where were you living to not know? Because she's all over the internet, and this is not rocket science, right? But some people are so like not tuned in. They don't even spend a few minutes a week just checking out what's going on, and then it makes you come across as out of touch or behind, or you're not you're not educated enough, or you're not with it, or you're just with the fairies or something. You can come across as a little bit like not intelligent or not well researched. Yeah, so you don't want to come across that way. That's why I'm saying just 5 minutes a day. I don't want you to get sucked into the media, and I understand how toxic social media can be sometimes. 5 minutes a day is enough, and you can choose your time. It could be 2 o'clock every single day, or it could be that you just do this a couple of days a week, just to stay up to date a little bit. And you don't want a situation where you don't know what's going on in the news. I remember there was even one time in my life where when I didn't know what Brexit was, when it was a big thing. And this is not a common thing with me. I'm always like up to date to a good degree, but maybe I wasn't really keeping up with the news around that time, or I just did not know much about Brexit. I don't know why, but I just didn't for some reason. Sometimes you just miss something. And I remember I was talking with my friends at work. This was way back. I think this was about 2015, around 2015 or 2014. And I remember, or maybe it was later. I think it was 2016. I don't remember, but like 2016, something like that. I remember I was talking to my friends, and I was like, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Brexit and stuff." And I was like, "What's Brexit?" And they were like, "What? Like, what do you mean by what's Brexit?" And I was like, "I don't know." And they were like, "What do you mean? Where have you been living?" And I mean, then of course I quickly did research, like, and immediately knew what was going on. And then I'm like, but I laughed, but in my mind I'm like, okay, that's just a one-off. But imagine if I lived my life like that. I mean, well, I couldn't because I was a publicist. I mean, that was what, even though at that point I'd sort of taken a bit of a break from my business. So maybe that was why as well. Like maybe I just took a bit of a break, and then I was also taking a bit of a break from the media, knowing what's going on in the media. I get it. We want to switch off sometimes. I get it. I get that you want to switch off, especially when you go online and it's all like this, the messages can be quite egotistical, and sometimes the news can be just fear mongering, and people can, yeah, I get it, but you have to, stay up to date to a certain degree, so you don't miss something that can be useful. You want to really shine and stand out on social media. You want to come across as clued up, you know what's going on, you know what you're doing, you know what you're saying, you're intelligent, and all these things. And especially in the media, if you're going to be doing media interviews, they're going to throw the odd question at you when you least expect it, and you want to know what to say. If they throw if they talk to you about the pandemic, if they talk to you about Gaza, if they talk to you about what do you think about the royals, you don't want to say, oh, I don't really pay attention to what the royals do. That is not a good answer, especially if you're not like a celebrity that's so established. You don't want to be doing that, because some journalists they'll turn that into something. They'll use that to basically make you look even more stupid, right? Number 5, be fabulous and shine brightly, but stay humble and down to earth. So it's okay to be fabulous and shine, and I like to go to like Harrods, or I like to buy night. I love to wear nice things, get my hair done, my nails, whatever it is, or even just do it myself. I guess what I'm trying to say is this: it's okay to like nice things. Okay, it's nice to have your nice handbag, your shoes, and all this good stuff. And it's nice to shine. You're meant to shine. The Bible says, let your light shine. Jesus says it, right? It's in the Bible. We're meant to shine brightly. But we don't want a situation where we are so like, we're so with the designer handbags. Like if designer handbags is your thing, if you're so with just designer handbags and your rich friends and your posh life, and you cannot even see anybody that is not a millionaire, or you can't see anybody that, if unless they're earning 6 figures, then you don't know who they are and they don't exist to you. So you want to find a way to stay humble and down to earth. And this can include just sometimes doing things that are just normal, like the laundry, sweeping the front of your house. It could be taking the bus, like whatever's going to make you a little bit more down to earth. It could be watching a documentary to see what people are going through. It could be um, volunteering for a charity. It could be donating, making some donations to charities where you may, or it could even be giving money to somebody on the street, right? Just to, if somebody's like asking for money because they have no food, they are suffering. It could be that you take time to just give them a little bit of money, okay, so that you actually are being relatable. One of the things we used to do in my school is we used to oh, by the way, okay, so I used to own a beauty pageant business, and so it was very glamorous and everything. And I used to be a beauty queen, and so I was Miss Charity UK, Miss Charity Kent, Miss Charity Europe for Face of Europe competition. So I won all these different crowns and titles as a charity beauty queen. But the thing is, yeah, so that was the glamorous side. I was wearing all these glamorous gowns and the sashes and the crowns. But how I stayed relatable is by doing the appearances, turning up to these events, supporting good causes, and then raising money for charity, raising thousands and thousands for charity. Okay, so you can raise money for charity. That's another way to stay humble and relatable. And I'm going to talk about that in the next post, next as number 6. So give back to local communities. Do something for those who are suffering in the world. That's definitely a way to stay humble. I remember the Kardashians around the time of the Balenciaga the whole drama with that. The Kardashians were being kind of like cancelled for that, and I remember them just basically going out there and they were giving food to women. I think it was some women that were going through some things. They started to give money food. They were like giving food to people in this like women's shelter. Okay, so sometimes you just need to disconnect from your celebrity life, your glamorous life, your entrepreneur life, your influencer life, and give back to those who are suffering. Okay, so number 7, share some of the ways that you give back to the less fortunate in your marketing and when you do media interviews. It could also be on your website. You can talk about this stuff. If you have a podcast, you have a magazine, just share information of how you're giving back. And you could even film some of the ways that you give back. You could actually basically cover it. Like you could decide to go to some schools or colleges, or you could decide to donate books to an organization, but you can also film it, document it so that we can see it. You're not doing this to show off. You're not doing this to prove that you're this giving person. You're doing it to document that you are giving back and that you are helping so that people can see you in a different light. Okay? You don't want to just come across as like, if you can spend the time to market your videos and your courses and your products and services, you can also do the same with marketing, showing yourself give back, or you can talk about it, right? Talk about the causes that you're supporting, and so on and so forth. Okay, so number 8 is to attend 2 or 3 events a year, or you can host your own events. This is a really, really good thing that you could do as well. Okay, sorry, I just paused there for a minute. Okay, number 8 is to attend 2 to 3 events a year or host your own events. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I used to organize a lot of events. I used to organize beauty pageant events, but I used to organize motivational seminars as well. And that was a way for me to bring the people together, and it was a way to show that I was doing PR. Events and PR very much connected. Some of you just need to go to more events, and that's you doing PR in itself. Just upload the photos, showcase some of the photos, and I promise you that you will see that people will actually think, wow, when it comes to the work you're doing. Because if you go to events, it already shows that you are supporting good causes, because a lot of these events are good causes, right? If you go to fashion shows, they're putting on a fashion show for those in the fashion world. If you go to a charity event, so go to events or host your own events. The people matter. People matter. So when people come together, that is always going to be something that shows that you are relatable and you're a people person, okay? So, and the events I encourage you to go to, like I mentioned, fashion shows, it could be charity events, celebrity events. You can go online as well. Like I go to a lot of events online and I pay for them. And I think there is a reason why some people earn money, whether it's it could be monthly, it could be yearly. No, not yearly, sorry. There's a reason why entrepreneurs begin to earn money. It's not just because they are promoting products and services. It's also because of the things they do behind the scenes. And whether it's the online events they're part of, it could be conferences, webinars, seminars, it could be usually seminars are in person, but there are online classes, there are online events that you can attend, and it's going to make you sharper. It's going to give you an opportunity to network. You're going to learn from some amazing mentors and incredible people. Like I went to an online event where Sarah Blakely was one of the speakers. Sarah Blakely, billionaire, the founder of Spanx. I mean, like amazing. I got to like literally be hanging out with Sarah Blakely in this online event, and most people may not even know this, but I can talk about this. Like, for example, I mentioned about stories. I can talk about it. It's a story. And I learned things that I could implement into my business. Okay. So before I used to actually go to a lot of events physically, and I definitely will get back to that. But I used to go to like London Excel, which is I used to go to one event called the Professional Beauty Show, and I would go often because this event was like once a year, massive event in London. And I think they did one in Glasgow as well. And so I would go to this event and I would just get so much out of this event. It was so, so good. And this event I went there to network, to buy some beauty products, to support the cause, to take photos, because there's so many backdrops and it's all very glamorous. But it's also a way just to like be part of what's going on in the beauty industry as someone that was hosting events to do with beauty. My events were beauty pageant events, and I could also hand out flyers if I saw any potential contestants as well. So yeah, definitely consider attending two or three events a year and host your own events. If you can't attend events in person, then do online. But try to go to events in person as well. And when I talk about events, I don't just mean like weddings and stuff. I'm talking about business events. I'm talking about events that's to do with your industry. If you're in the marketing world, try and go to a marketing event. Think of a mastermind. It could be a meetup. It could be a workshop. Okay. And by the way, if you want to find events, you can go to eventbrite.com. They have loads of events on eventbrite.com. Now, with attending events, it's going to take courage and confidence. It's not going to always be an easy thing to do. You've got to put yourself out there. And like I said, you can do it online if you're not really ready to go to these events in person. But, what I tend to do every year, apart from during the pandemic time, was I just go to a couple of conferences every year. I go to Bulgaria. Like last year, I went to Bulgaria, which is I just do like a couple, like, okay, I'm going to Bulgaria, I'm going to Spain or wherever, like just a couple of events and that's it, so I get it out of the way. And usually a lot goes on with these events, these conferences. It's usually for about 5 days and it's so intense and full on and lots of networking is happening, lots of meeting people, taking photos, there's lots of filming going on. It's like the best PR. And also it's like a holiday at the same time, and it's just a way to present and speak, and then I get to get my work published into books and stuff. So I feel like that's one of my ways that I just go to events. But back in the day when I used to go, I would go to like 10 events in a space of like 3 months. Like I would be like going to different cities. I think when I was, especially being younger, I was running around, going to these events, having so much fun. And I think it's great. But I do think that because we are more digital now, we do need to leverage the digital side of things. And yeah, bear that in mind. Not everything works. Like if you go to certain events now, it may not work for your business anymore because we have gone into a digital space and we need to acknowledge that. Okay, so number 9 is to do target market research. So get feedback from your ideal clients, your audience, and your customers. You can do this by continuously doing things like surveys, questionnaires. You can have a focus group. You could basically give free sessions and ask for feedback during these sessions. You can also look at your results, look at the data from your coaching sessions that you do, the client work that you do. You can look at the data and see what you're noticing as patterns and trends. You can basically conduct questionnaires. You can do one-on-one interviews. You can do face-to-face interviews. You can do participant observation. Do some target market research. It's going to be one of the best things you do to really understand your ideal clients, your audience, your customers. But also it's a great way for you to have like knowledge. profound knowledge that you can use in your marketing. So you can speak more to your ideal clients. You know what they like, what they dislike, what they want from you, what they don't. One of the things I learned from my clients is a lot of them don't want to basically do their own PR. They don't want to do their own pitch into media sources and everything. They want someone like me to do it for them. They want done for you services, which is why I realized, okay, most women entrepreneurs want the done for you. Whereas a lot of people, I thought they wanted more of the coaching side of things. They don't. They don't have time for that. A lot of women entrepreneurs don't have time for it. Okay, so some of them do want it, but not many. Most of them want the done for you service. And so that's why I focus more on done for you packages. And they would sell, right? The courses do sell and everything. I've sold different things. I've sold memberships, masterminds, and one-on-one coaching and everything. I've loved this. I mean, I cannot thank God enough. It's been a beautiful journey. But I think that the high-end packages, the one-on-one is where it works the most. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I want more of the group stuff to sell. I want more of the other things. Why does it have to be the one-on-one? I want to sort of like do one-to-many more. But we cannot dictate what the market wants. Okay, that is why we need to do this target market research, because they will tell us, we don't tell them. Okay, number 10, collaborate with brands, celebrities, churches, academic institutions, influencers, leaders that give you and whoever else. Collaborate with people or brands or, leaders and everything that give you the opportunity to work on projects that positively impacts the masses. Okay, so I remember my mother used to be very active in the Labour Party. Okay, so she used to help with campaigning and everything. And I would go along to some of the events, or I would go and campaign with her. And so this was just a great way for me to just be like able to help with the campaigns that would help our the area that we live in, but also help London as a whole, which will contribute to the impact the good impact of the UK. So we wanted to obviously impact the UK in a good way so that the UK would be better, and there'll be all these amazing changes and making the country a wonderful country, which obviously the UK is already a wonderful country, but there are so many ways we can also improve. And I think that like me being actively part of a lot of these events, these Labour Party events, it was a breath of fresh air to go along and just go and meet the politicians. For example, Jeremy Corbyn, very, very friendly, warm person. And he was so serious, and I just loved going to these events because it made me feel like I was contributing to the cause. I have worked with celebrities. I've been able to work with them through the PR side of things, but also through like partnering with some organizations, and then we've worked together in that way. And then I've also worked with charities by basically raising money for charities. I've been invited as a beauty queen to come along to a lot of charity events, and sometimes they want me to like read something. I've been invited to churches to sing or speak. I went to a church in Nigeria where I got to speak and I got to sing in front of like thousands of youths at this Generation Yes event. And I've had the opportunity to be part of lots of different projects. And sometimes I'm the one hosting the project, or I'm just collaborating. Okay. So I want to encourage you to collaborate with these brands and celebrities, churches, academic institutions, influencers, leaders. You can actually write a list of who you would like to collaborate with. Okay. So it could be some food companies, it could be some and I want you to also just not think of the glamorous side of things. Think of also what's authentic to you. Think of the causes that you're passionate about, right? Because it's not just about the glitz and the glam. In fact, I think that for me, as someone that is now like where I am today, the age I am today, I don't actually necessarily want to just be around stuff that's glamorous or people that are just glamorous all day long. I want to go to like a garden center. I want to go to a lavender field. I want to do things that are different. I love connecting with nature a little bit more. So I think that as we grow, we do evolve, and we start realizing that not everything is about like some fancy event. Okay. So like my idea now of fun is going to a nice garden, or, like, can I go to like, and sometimes I do this, I'll just like go to like a nice little park. Like I would, um, go to like a nice park, and it's just like, or maybe because there is this church, for example, and there's got this lovely park area, and I'll just go there on my way back from shopping or something, right? On the way back from shopping, I'll just go there and just sit there, and then like take all these like little clips, and and then there's a shopping area that where I shop, and they have this little like garden area, and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here, and these are things that interest me. There are different. I think as you grow and evolve, you get interested in different things. Some of you may want to basically like, for example, work with chefs. You might want to work with a chef. You might want to go to a cooking class or cooking school. Maybe you want to collaborate with some kind of university to host events for them, or it could be you go and speak at some events. Okay, people are looking for volunteers. Organizations are looking for volunteers. They're looking for you to be part of this. But one thing I'll say to you, is you can hear all these things and be like, okay, yeah, that sounds nice. Okay, yeah, Queen is saying do this, doing that. But the thing is, you've got to ask yourself, what am I going to take from this presentation, and what am I going to do to implement? Because implementation is where you get the results, right? Okay, so number 11, as the 11th idea I want to give to you, think of ways to increase your sustainability in your business without reducing the quality of your products and services. Okay, so think of ways to basically save money, help the environment, and make the world a better place. Now, you may not necessarily feel like you have to do that much now. You might be more of a solopreneur. You may have a small team. So you may not really have much opportunity to have to think of sustainability, but you can think of ways to improve in reference to sustainability as you evolve, or you can come up with ideas. So it could be that you have a policy that, let's just say you're using a co-working space and you have a team, and you're using this co-working space and you have a team. You might have a policy that you don't use too much. You don't use paper unnecessarily. You don't print paper unless you really need to. That could be an idea, right? Or it could be that you always have to, everybody recycles, like recycling is a big thing there. So you have like your recycling bucket or your basket, and like every week you always recycle, even though usually if you're working in a co-working space, they usually probably would take care of that for you. But maybe you have your own office and you do it there. Maybe in your own office, your recycling is a big thing. It could be that you decide to donate certain things once a month. You gather all the things that you all don't want or don't need, and then you send them over to some kind of place where they deal with recycling, right? Maybe you have maybe you give everybody their own water bottle, your work water bottle, so that you can all save plastic. So that not everybody is like using plastic bottles. Maybe you have a water machine to prevent the use of plastic, right? So everyone can just use the cups or fill their bottles with water, and that is a way of decreasing plastic. Okay. Now if you don't do this in your business because you've not got to that point yet, you can still come up with ways to be more sustainable in your personal life and talk about it. So, for example, I always do a lot of recycling, like probably every couple of days. I take out we have a plastic, we have all these recycling bags, and we just fill the recycling bags with different plastics. So I normally sometimes will walk around the house or walk around the kitchen and find everything that needs recycling, put it into this bag, and then take it to the recycling bin outside. Now, I don't do that every single day because sometimes it just fills up, and then whoever gets to the bag, they do it. But usually every 2 days or so, I will definitely take that bin out. Now, it may get refilled again, but then, yeah, maybe someone else will take it out the next time, but I always make sure I'm keeping an eye on that. And I actually love knowing that I'm doing that. That's my little thing of doing to make sure I'm making sure to be sustainable. And from time to time, I'll phone up a company that can come and take things for recycling, right? So they can take things for recycling. So all the things we want to throw away, they can come along and take everything, or we can take it to this. There's a place where they do recycling, and it's like a sort of dumping area, but you can put your items in different parts, and they will recycle it and everything. So there's a specific place where they do that, not too far away from me. And sometimes once in a while, we'll take all of our stuff there, and then we can just, get it all recycled. Another thing that I really believe in as well is I mean, some of you, I'll give you an idea quickly. Some of you have an old phone, right? So you have an old phone or an old laptop, and you can actually give that to a phone company or to some. You could go along to your PC World or Curry's, one of those department stores. They usually allow you to recycle your batteries or recycle your laptop, recycle your phone. Okay, so that could be also another way of recycling. Um, Sustainability could be to do with not wearing fur. So maybe you don't wear real fur, you wear um, the fake fur, right? So yeah, just think about it. Like come up with ideas. Maybe you don't want to. Yeah, maybe you can't do everything, but the most important thing is just doing your part, right? Come up with just do some research in reference to sustainability and look for ways to be more sustainable. Now, this works more if you have a brick and mortar business. So if you have a coffee shop or some kind of restaurant, or if you have an educational institute, if you have maybe if you host an event, this is where you need to be thinking about sustainability, because this is where that lack of being sustainable can come in, because you're using a lot of resources, you're using a lot of tools, you're using a lot of things, and it can lead to wastage, and it can lead to sometimes hurting the environment. So, for example, if you're using too much electricity, or if you're using too much gas, if you are using too much plastic, so yeah, definitely. And you can also hire someone, by the way, to come in and talk to you about ways to be more sustainable. If your business is a business that could be in need of being more, of adding in sustainability, so yeah, you can always hire experts to sort of give you some ideas and tips. So that is it in a nutshell. Let me just give you an overview. So number one, so basically what we covered is 11 ways to use PR and media to be more relatable as an entrepreneur, female entrepreneur. So number one, I said share and basically cover, share, and discuss relatable topics. You can blog about this, you can do podcast episodes on this, live streams, video content on relatable topics. Number two, relate to a wide range of audiences, right? You don't want to just be relating to your American audience, your English audience, your British English audience, your UK English audience. You don't want to just be relating to your Nigerian audience. You don't want to just relate to your Canadian audience. You want to be remembering that you're serving you're serving an international audience. There's a good chance that you are, unless you're specifically only targeting, for example, you only work with Germans, right? So if you're working with just Germans, then you can actually just talk to Germans. But I bet you there are going to be times where when you are going to need to talk to other audiences. And if that's the case, then remember to be relatable. Okay, remember that there are other people out there in the world like you. Think of inclusion, equality, and diversity. Do not be discriminative or racist or ageist or sexist and things like that. That's another thing to talk about, but we can talk about that another time. Number three, share stories and experiences that you have had that your audience can relate to. So it could be your pregnancy story, your birth, your having, the birthing story of how you had your baby. It could be your marriage story. It could be a painful breakup. It could be a client that wanted a refund. It could be emotional stories, difficult stories, encouraging stories, inspiring stories. The point I want to mention, or the point I want to make and be very kind of crystal clear on, is you need to spend the time to think of different stories that your audience will relate to. Okay, you've got to do that research. Number four is to stay up to date with current affairs. Know what's happening in the world so that you don't come across as out of touch. A lot of celebrities are being cancelled right now because they are coming across as out of touch. They know what's going on in the world. They know what's happening in Gaza, for example. They know that right now in Sudan there is something going on. There is affliction happening to people in Sudan, and they pretend like nothing's happening, and that is not working with people these days. The public, different audiences all over the world, people are done with it. They are blocking celebrities because they think they are not covering important issues, and they feel like we are making them rich. We are making them these gods in the earth that don't actually care about us. That's what people are saying right now on TikTok and all over. Just type in blocking celebrities and you'll see what I'm talking about. And today is the 14th of May. So I'm talking about what's happening right now, based on all the research I've been doing. Number five, be fabulous and shine brightly. There's nothing wrong with having nice things. God did not say to hide in a corner and be miserable. He said, Jesus said, let your light shine. Okay. But we also need to be humble and down to earth. The Bible says we should be humble. Moses was a meek man. Jesus was meek and humble, despite the fact that he was the Son of God. Okay. So we need to find ways to be humble. And, one of the things that Jennifer Lopez has been criticized on heavily is the fact that she isn't very nice to service workers, right? So listen, nobody's perfect. Some people clash and, people do sometimes argue and stuff, but we're not talking about that. We're not talking about the odd disagreement. We're talking about she doesn't treat anybody nicely according to the word on the streets, according to what everybody is saying. Now, most celebrities, we have seen some celebrities, they sometimes don't act nice to maybe the paparazzi, or they lose their temper or something. Yeah, that's normal, but we're not talking about just a one-off thing or here or there. We're talking about something that she's doing to, for example, she doesn't hire Virgos. She does not hire Virgos, right? That is not even right. Like, you're not even allowed to do that legally. By law, employment law says that you must, like, there are employment laws and policies that you have to consider, and you can't just be like, oh, you're a Virgo, you're not going to be hired. So that's one thing, right? Then the second thing is to do with how she treats service workers. So Ben Affleck is a big tipper. Her husband, he tips big. He's always blessing people with tips, and then she takes the tips back and then gives them gives them small money, like takes back, for example, $100 and then gives them just 50. Like, who does that? Okay, so there are things, and like I said, nobody's perfect. Like, he who is without sin, let him throw the first stone. So none of us are perfect. Sometimes we can be rude, we can argue, we can, like, I don't know anybody that's perfect. And I think a lot of us that look at these celebrities, we probably wouldn't be smiling as much as them. Like, I don't think I walk around smiling all day long. I mean, I definitely smile a lot, but I would not. Like, how would you feel if you have to say hello to every fan in the world? Like, how would you feel? Okay, so listen, those down days that they have, I get it. We all get it. But I can't imagine giving a tip to someone and then saying, "Oh, can I have the tip back? Give me the tip back." Or I can't imagine basically saying, "Oh, I'm not hiring any Virgos. If you're a Virgo, you have to leave the set." So there are many questionable things, like with other celebrities, you might hear the odd thing, or you might hear that. Like, I remember there was a time when Melanie B cut off all her family, for example. Nobody said anything negative about that because that's her choice. That's her decision. Maybe she wasn't getting on with them. And thank God they did make up now. So that's really, really good. And it was just to do with the fact that she was going through I think at the time her husband was being very controlling. So he wasn't allowing her to see her family. But no one said anything bad about it because it was just her own personal decision. Maybe they just weren't getting along. But really, obviously, there was more to the story, which we found out. So disagreements do happen. But I think it's when somebody is like that to every single body. Like, you're like that to the service workers. She's not nice. Like, Jennifer Lopez is not meant to be nice to her dancers. She's not that nice to her fans. It's just, I didn't actually know all this. Like, I didn't know. I honestly didn't know. And I will say this especially in reference to taking back the tips. That's the thing that really is just shocking. And I don't think it's shocking to, yeah, I mean, I think if she's just a bit rude here and there, like, who's going to really be bothered with that? Like, come to the UK and see how rude people can be here. This is London. Like, people are not going to be smiling with you every day. If you go on the tube, forget it. You're going to get a frown. You're going to see someone you're going to smile and be like, ah, and they're going to just look at you like you're crazy. Okay. I think that happens in New York as well. I think people in New York, yeah, they can be friendly, but sometimes they're just like, okay, whatever, don't smile at me. So, yeah, we're all human, right? Human. And that's what I was saying to you. Like, be fabulous and shine, but stay humble and be down to earth. So, one of the things that Jennifer Lopez is doing more of now, which is really good, is she's starting to, smile at the fans more, wave at the fans more, shake their hands, remembering how she got to that position in the first place. Okay. Because it's easy to lose that humanness, and sometimes we all need a little bit of a wake up call. we need a wake up call. We have to come back down to earth and everything, you know. So, yes, we do need that wake up call. Oh my gosh, I've gone on and on about this. Okay, number 6, give back to. The reason why I'm going on about this is because this is probably the biggest thing that can work against. Like, if, for example, if your customers, if you're always rude to your customers, yeah, that could be a problem, you know. So, like, if you're rude to your customers, you're rude to your staff, you're rude to your team, you're rude to everybody.com, yeah, that could be an issue. So that's why and I think, you know what I think it is sometimes? I think that it is also the stresses of life. Life is stressful. So learn how to manage your stress. That's what I would say. But sometimes this is a double life. So Ellen DeGeneres was not nice to anybody behind the scenes, but was lovely on camera. And I think, you know, don't live a double life as well. Like, you know, I think in the UK, a lot of us are quite pretty real. Like most UK people, we can be very nice, but we can also be rude. Like most British people, don't get on the wrong side of them. They will tell you about yourself just like that. And I think people appreciate that. Like I appreciate people that are real. Just be real. Be real. But the reality is we have to understand that we can also step up and be better. Like I think this is a wake up call for everybody, for all of us in the entrepreneurial world, to just assess ourselves and come up higher in every way possible. Give back to local communities is number 6. Number, I'm out of breath now. Number 7, share some of the ways that you can give back to less fortunate people in your marketing and when you do media interviews. Number 8, attend events 2 or 3 times a year and host your own events. Number 9, do target market research and give back. You know, give feedback. Get feedback. Get consistent feedback from your ideal clients and your audience. And number 10, collaborate with brands, celebrities, churches, academic institutions, influencers, leaders. Basically, learn to collaborate with the media, whoever it is, learn to collaborate so that you have the opportunity to work on projects that positively impact the masses. And then number 11, I shared, think of ways to increase your sustainability in your business without reducing the quality of your products and services. Okay, so you need to be more sustainable, but you don't want to do that if it means that your product is going to be awful. Like, listen, one of the things I don't like is makes me laugh. You know the cartons of orange juice, for example. There's like they've got rid of the straws, the plastic straws, but then they've given us these paper straws. They I can't even drink from that straw. So they basically have reduced the. It's a good idea, yeah. No more plastic straws, but I'm sorry, but those paper straws they've made, they don't work. So they need to re-strategize and come up with something that doesn't affect the quality of the product. There's no way that I can drink my drink with that little paper straw that they give that ends up bending and breaking in 5 seconds. So I end up having to like tear the side of my carton of drink, my carton of orange juice, or my little smoothie that I bought, and then drink it from the corner. That is not how I'm meant to. Before I can use my plastic straw and drink it, and everything's fine. So that means they've reduced the quality of the product. So they have to work on that to make it better. Maybe a thicker thicker straw or something that doesn't just bend and break. And because I can't even get the juice to flow through the straw, right? And sometimes, you know, like I will buy some products and they give me a paper bags, and then when I'm going out and it's raining, all the products just fall through the bag. That is not sustainability. That means they've failed to give. You know, they need bags that actually keep the products in. Okay, so some brands will give us those really like sturdy bags instead, which is really good. Okay, so that is it. I am just to let you know, guys. So my name is Queen Chima, as I said. I'm an international speaker, lecturer, PR media coach, and a publicist. And if you would like help with your PR media game plan, book in a 30-minute PR and media strategy session with me today. I've worked with women entrepreneurs, female coaches, boss babes to help them to attract media interviews, good PR, and media opportunities. Are you wanting to be in the media? Do you want to be, for example, look at my press. I mean, I've got a lot more than this, but I'll just show you, like BBC One, Vox Africa, OK Magazine, Her Story Matters, ITV, ITV2, ITVB, MTV, the Islington Gazette. I've been in Forbes. some of my press is there, but I've also had others like BBC London Radio, and I've been in Natural Sparkle magazine. I've been in I've been in the Voice newspaper, which is our number one newspaper for Africans and Caribbeans. Um, but yeah, so if you're like, oh, I want more press, I want those media logos. I didn't put everything here, but I just put a few. Then reach out to me because I would love to help. Now, if it's a situation where you just need some strategizing, some tips and everything, then book in that one-on-one call with me. Another thing I want to encourage you to get today, right now, I'm going to wait for you to do it. Get my course today. Get media interviews and good PR now, the bundle. Get that now. The link is in the comment section. Get it today, right? The reason why I want you to get it is because it's going to help you. It's going to help you to get media interviews and good PR for your business. Okay, so I might actually put this in that course, by the way, as a bonus. But I want you to get this because, like, this is going to give you so many more PR media tips to take your business to new levels, right? And you can't just wish to be in the media or wish to have the PR tips and wish to understand. Like, you need to, yeah, you can do all the wishing, but you can also learn from someone that can teach you. Because in my course, this course, I teach you how to get media interviews now, how to get good PR now, okay? And I've just shared a few good tips with you. So if you want to know more, get the course. And it's super affordable. It's only $55 right now. And it was going to be going back up to $77. So get it now for $55 now, today. The link's in the bio, the link's in the bio, the link's in the bio. The link is in the bio. Get it now. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Get the course. Get the course. Because I want to help you to get media interviews. One of the videos that you might like a lot is I give you 10 ways to get media interviews. I give you 10 ways to pitch to the media. Okay. And I also have a list of different events you can go to really stand out. Okay. So I hope this is helpful. I love you so much. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.